Bugger those technical gremlins. We're here. Galimera, Galispera, Galinicta, no matter where in this wonderful, wacky, weird world you might be. Thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. Time to rock and roll. Chat between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Squad Central. What a lovely picture from last year's game against West Ham United. Tactical Squad is back. That means guess who's in the house? That's right. It's Josh the Human and James Johnson, otherwise known as LL Cool James. Bosh. At ease, everyone. Okay. At ease. Welcome, boys. How you doing? Josh, top corner there, top bins.
I'm doing all right, thank you. In top bins, enjoying myself. I'm sure I can wait for the chat box to come back at me after my last appearance on here. I'm sure some people saw the tweet I quote tweeted the show with.
Just remind everyone exactly what happened the last time you were here, son.
Who didn't I upset? I'm not sure. Maybe there's a shorter way to go. Probably didn't upset Leandro Trossard because he probably didn't hear anything.
Tammy Steels. If our Tammy is in the house, Tammy was the one.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're going to let you explain yourself once again because everyone's been asking since you said Trossard couldn't play up front. All right. Yeah. We're going to get to that. Before we do, James, welcome back. You got the memo about the red sweatshirt?
Yes, I did.
Mine's a lifeguard.
Mine is it's a spoof of the North Face, but it says the North Bank.
I like that. Very nice. Very nice. Tactical. I'm channeling my inner, some people stand in the darkness. Do you remember that?
Don't hassle the Soph. Yeah, I like it.
Listen, Saturdays after Football Focus, it was Baywatch on ITV. Switch the channels. That was wonderful. All right. Welcome back, guys. It's been too long. I love you. I missed you. James, I hope you and bro and dad are doing well. I know it's not been an easy time, but I just want you to know that everyone has been sending love and messages your way. And we hope you and your fam jam are doing as well as you could be.
Yeah, no, much appreciated. Yeah, it was incredible. There's a lot of stuff about the online world of football. And, I had messages from God knows where. If you had an atlas, I could have put, when people put the pins in them on the wall of where I had, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. It was unreal. Unreal.
Well, it's good stuff. And it's, we're so happy you're back. And this is the beautiful thing about our community, right? Newman, I'm not, so I have my lucky hat. It's right here, actually. It's on my desk. I'm so hot today. I can't wear the hat, but it's here. And if you don't believe me, it's right next to me. Okay, so do not fear, the hat is here. I just couldn't wear it today. I was dying. There you go. All right. Here's the scoop. How the show's going to go tonight. The boys are going to talk tactics and we're going to talk about how we can beat West Ham. I'm going to get their take on a few other bits and bobs. Stay until the very end of the show because I have a huge surprise for a very special listener. And before you say, no, Newman, it's not you getting a coin. All right. So that's not happening. And I haven't given up. That's not cool. It's not cool at all. So stay till the end. I've got a couple of surprises. And that's it. Next week, I'm going to be in Chicago with the Chicago Gooners and Elliot from Arsenal Vision and Tom Canton from Gooner Talk TV. So if you are in the Chicago area, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Go check out the Chicago Gooners website, Goonerpalooza. If you don't have tickets, please go and check them out and support them. So Chicago Gooners. Look forward to seeing you next week as well. 5 minutes in and we haven't talked a lick of football. Let's go ahead and do that, shall we? Why don't we just get stuck right in with you-know-who? Even when he's not here, he's here. All right? And you know what, Josh? I'm starting to think that your theory might be right. Is Super Kev bottling it? Coming
He
on when
is.
Josh is on.
Just call him Evian now.
All right, here we go. We start Tactical Squad with Super Kev's question.
Josh and James, Sophie, Squaddies, how you doing? Right, big question for the show is who is going to prove to be the main player against West Ham, and who in your formation could be a surprise addition, not including Trossard. There you go. So that's 2 questions in one. One game at a time, 8 games to go. Look after yourself, guys. All the very best. Squaddies at ease.
Okay, so how cool. Firstly, I fear whoever he's going to meet, right? When I got that this morning, I was like, holy cow, Kev is super gangster today. Not only is it Dickie Bow Thursday, but he looks like he's being driven in a car that was once owned by the Craze. I'm just saying that out loud.
I just want to throw it out there, right? There's still this talk about Idris Elba being Bond. Chuck that out the window. Super Kev's in.
See, I was getting full like Daddy Warbucks vibes.
Yeah.
That was it. That's what I was getting from.
Have you seen the video of the ice cream van with the Godfather music on loop?
Yeah.
It's so scary coming out. I could just imagine him with the windows down, just everywhere he's going.
It's the sound, totally. It's the sound of the car as well. It actually sounds like he's in a Maybach or something because it's just.
He's paid to have the RR taken out of the seats. That's it. So you don't know he's in a roller.
All I can say is we may have to play that one more time before the show is out because I just love it. Brilliant stuff. All right, Josh, let's kick off with you, shall we? Answering Super Kev's question. And I do like that he put the caveat in that you can't include Trossard on the second part of his question. Go on.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's really been a shame for me. That I was going to bring Trossard in.
Well, let's explain yourself from the last time you were here and then go into Kev's.
I will stand by that. If you look at his heat map, Leandro Trossard doesn't play as a striker. And I will end it there and let everyone else do their research because I can't be bothered to get into it. But yes,
great.
The surprise addition for the lineup, I did provide a lineup, and to be honest, there's no surprises in it, I guess.
You did, and let me be your Vanna White on the old Wheel of Fortune here. There you go.
I did toy with one change in there, and it was going to be for Mr. Granit Xhaka. And I wondered if this was a game that we brought in Vieira back into it. And I ummed and thought, you know what? We're 1 game a week now. Don't give anyone a rest. They don't need it. We don't need squad rotation. And I didn't bring Trossard in for the front 3 because I think that front 3 is our best front 3. I'm not going to drop our best front 3 for, again, bringing in players on rotation. There's certainly a role that our bench can play in this game if it turns out to be tricky, but I'll speak later about who I think the real, actually no, I'll do it now. Because the key player
the
for
impactors. Are you talking about the impactors?
Yeah, the impactors.
I have some of them lined up for you here, barring one who's injured. But there's 3 impactors here, except one's injured.
Yeah, it's a good-looking lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought you'd like that picture.
I think the one for me who's going to not necessarily be the impactor off the bench, but from the start is Martinelli, because I saw a few weeks ago Johnson, their right back. Saw him in the flesh down at the Amex. He looks like probably a professional right back. I expect he is. I mean, he gets paid by West Ham, so a given he is. But Mitoma gave him such a roasting.
We like
that day that Martinelli can at least double that, and the kids will think he was getting nightmares. And almost exactly the same thing probably that would happen again in this game will be our star winger comes off, who's on the left wing, that's already caused Johnson a hell of a lot of problems, and thinks, oh, you know what, might get a little bit of rest. And that's when we bring Trossard on and give him another run, and he'll go for it again. And one of the big things with David Moyes is if a player's having a stinker, he'll leave him out there. Unless they had a stinker in the first 20 minutes, in which case he'll probably take him off. If they make it to half time and they're still sinking up the joint, he'll leave them on for 90 minutes. It's one of his traits about being loyal to his players that eventually, at some point, that player will stop roasting him. But I didn't see that down at Brighton, and he left it, and they lost 4-0. So I'm expecting exactly the same from Arsenal, with higher caliber of player and a higher caliber of forward line. That, for me, that's their weak spot.
Interesting. All right, James, I'm going to swing it back to you. Before I do that, East Side Views in the house. We always like to welcome our rival fans. Thanks so much for joining us. Hi, West Ham fan here. You'll smash us easy. We were crap tonight in Belgium. And then I asked East Side View if you can share if you started your best. Trossard loves a goal against us. Trossard loved the goal against Liverpool. Didn't start. I thought he was effective when he came on. James Johnston, what do you say?
Yeah, for me, I don't think there is going to be it unless Kevin, again, he's got inside, he looks like the cartel, unless he's got inside info about about a shock inclusion. I can't think of who it can be. I agree with exactly what Josh said. We're one game a week. So why change?
So knowing how Kev thinks sometimes, not including Trossard, I know he wants Jesus starting. I know he wants Martinelli. I know he wants Saka. Martinelli's proven he can play with anyone, Jesus and Trossard. You're looking at Thomas Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard. Vieira's not going to get a shot in there, is he? You've already got issues at the back. I don't know if Kivior's not going to come in for Rob Holding. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see at this point where the surprise is coming from either.
The only surprise potentially, I guess, would be Saliba, James.
Yeah, I can't see that happening.
Yeah, go on, James.
Like I said to you, I'm not doing a seance of Robert Stack just yet from Unsolved Mysteries to find where we don't have to get the cadaver dogs out until next week if he's not back. If he's not back for Southampton, panic. I can't see him being here on Sunday, but there we go. And for me, the main man for us is going to be the main man like it was in the home game, and that's Martin Odegaard. He ripped him to smithereens, and I can see him completely ripping them to bits, and I can see it being quite reminiscent of the Fulham game. We could be done in one half here if we play our cards right. The majority of their fans, a bit like East Side Views, are so sick and tired of it, and they literally they won at the weekend through an own goal. Apparently they were dreadful. I didn't watch them against Fulham.
Well,
apparently they were awful. Apparently.
Let's put East Side View's other comment up. We can't pass the ball to save our lives. Moyes will set us up not to get beat. We'll sit back and invite you onto us. Works brilliantly for us, doesn't it? And last season, similarly, I was at that game at the London Stadium. God, that place is soulless. We'll get onto that a bit as well. And I'm sure East Side Views should have invited him on the show, James. But this works perfectly for us, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, compared to how we have been in the past, this team, when they smell blood, we actually go for it now. We actually really do like to rip teams, which I think is something new that's come in, especially this season. So, yeah, I'm hoping and praying that we can be, done and dusted here within an hour. And then, like we've said, get your Trossards on, get your, hopefully get Smith Rowe more games, get a Vieira on, use Tierney if you want to. Nelson, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Can you bring him on for Saka? Maybe save Saka some time, because they rested Cresswell tonight. One thing that Cresswell loves doing is smashing Saka to bits. He's done it the last few times we've played him. He's I remember when Pepe was ripping him up, and then he completely, pretty much tried to destroy Pepe's knee because he just get fed up of being twisted in and out like a hot point washer. So he'll do the same. He'll do the same to Saka probably at the weekend and try and smash into him. Zuma's one of them. Zuma for me is a guy that if he decides that he's going to play a great game, he will. But
as long as there's not a cat in his way.
There you go. and Kufau as well. Yeah, if Kufau plays, I'm confident as well of, doing Saka, doing him there, because Kufal, bless him, he's got a scary face, but other than that, there's not much to fear,
Well, here's Eastside's views response to that. And
right.
I
yeah,
think Emerson would start as well for them, and I think Johnson will be right back, and they go with the back two.
So
we'll see.
Josh, let's riff off a little bit what James just said, because I thought at 2-0 at Liverpool, we were off to the races. Of course, it's Anfield, and I was stoked to get the point. And I'll get your take on that as well. But it felt like at 2-0, and I felt like 3-0, bosh, you go in at halftime, job is done. Is there any concern that we're going to get a little bit too conservative and you'll see and they don't have the same quality that Liverpool do, of course, that whether you're starting Firmino, whether you're starting Salah, Nunes, on whoever, that was electric in the second half in terms of their talent and the type of play that they can bring on. Are you concerned at all that we've been and played our game, that the idea of going conservative to protect leads is going to hurt us, considering we do struggle sometimes when we park the bus or the spaceship?
Yeah, well, I think the way we'll go into this game, I think it's similar as we did to Liverpool. It's kind of poke the bear and see what we get. Is it going to be a polar bear or a Care Bear? And that, I think with West Ham, we're more likely going to see towards the latter. It's not going to be as, I don't think it's going to be as aggressive a side, not as clinical a side, certainly. I think the only player that I really fear in that forward line for them is Jarrod Bowen. I
He
think
scored in the fixture last year, did he? In the 2-1?
Did. And I think he scored this evening as well for them out in Belgium. So he's certainly in form. But otherwise, from that team, it's not something I wholly fear. Some of their best players are just coming back from injury. Again, don't think it'll be too quick for that. And I've also got to think that against Man City, we're going to need to defend. And that game is in, just over a week or so. So we'll get some practice in at defending. It'll be quite good. Go 4 or 5 nil up.
26th. Manchester
26th.
City, 26th
Yeah.
is the City game.
So week Wednesday, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, but according to the West Ham fan here, their end product is dead. So that type of practice isn't going to help us at all. This, though, James, is very important. And I want to try and find it right here from Mark B. The importance to try and claw back the goal difference. I woke up the other night. I had a nightmare that we lost the league on goal difference. I woke up in a sweat. I'm not going to say that I cried. I just went back to sleep. James, how important is this? I mean, this is a possibility.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why, like I said, just got to go for the jugular. Of old, we used to sit back and, that Rob Holding substitution that used to happen when we were up, that used to be it. Close it down, we're winning. Now, we can go potentially here for attacking substitutions and then score more goals, which will be brilliant. I mean, there was a lot of the weekend, Sophie, about Arteta I think he wanted to bring Tierney on before he did. But I quite liked the fact that even though we were at Anfield, and even though it was a bit of a pressure cooker and cagey, I quite like that Mikel Arteta had the stones to go, do you know what? I'm going to leave Zinchenko on here because I'm that confident in this team now, this group of lads, we might have another chance again. He might pick out a pass and we can have another chance again. But then again, when he did take him off, Tierney nearly scored straight away. So it's a tight one to balance there. But yeah, no, I'm like we've all said, we're all pretty confident here now. I mean, we'll probably be different Sunday, but
yeah,
I'm a very confident man.
Let's read out some of the comments from the squaddies. We'll never actually know, but on the day, what team will show up? Care Bear or Polar Bear? Arsenal forever. I do not want to lose the league title on goal difference. I know, I'm sorry. It was Ings that scored the goal, by the way. let's get some of these other comments. One more from Arsenal. We could take Odegaard off and put Trossard on. We're going to get to that. Shock inclusion in matchday starting 11 could be Saliba. I don't think Saliba or Eddie are ready. I was going to say Eddie. Is Eddie ready? But don't think so. Cozzy T thinks it's going to be a hammering 3-0. And let's see. Arsenal forever very busy this evening. Here's a question for you guys. If we don't win the league, could this mentally scar our young players? We'll get to that question at the end. So a lot of confidence going into this one. And I think because of last year's results, and as you've seen, I've put up some pickies of last year. Dare I say, can Big Gab and Big Bob do it again? James, Josh, is this possible? 2-1 last year, 2 goals from our centre-backs. Rob's hair even better than it was last year, actually. Entering into, this looks like a cauldron at the London Stadium, this picture, but it isn't a cauldron there. We know it. Josh, I'll start with you. The 2 at the back. No Saliba. Everyone's still panicking about that. Xhaka has proven that he can evolve under Mikel Arteta. Eddie Nketiah has proven he can evolve under Mikel Arteta. Should we not give the same grace to Rob Holding? What do you see in this? Against West Ham, fine, but going forward, concerned?
I back Rob Holding generally, and I will continue to back him. What I actually fear is if Saliba's ready for Man City, is if he's got no game time on him. I'm not throwing a cold player in against Man City. What I'm more likely want to do is what we've got with Rob Holding at the moment. We've got a player that is in form. The team knows what's going on with him. He's getting, I think, one thing that I think Rob can improve in his game at the moment, and this only comes by playing in games, is his understanding with Ramsdale. Well, it is close to that. It was a cheap shot, but it is close to what I mean in terms of his understanding with Aaron Ramsdale. Because what I can see at the moment is when he's under pressure, he is reverting to his instincts. And his instincts were when he was growing up playing for Bolton. And at Bolton, you'd want to just stop every ball, every shot that would come through. You were told at that age, stop the ball.
But that was 20. He's been at Arsenal since 2016 now.
But it's still just in there. It's the same as every player can play 4-4-2 because that's what they were brought up on. Especially every English player. And you can still see it that Rob will still go back into his defence. He will still go into the box and just retreat, basically, and just try and stop that shot. When actually, we've got a very competent goalkeeper behind him. A lot like you see with, I'm thinking, actually, Lee Dixon was on, I forget the name of the podcast, Arsenal Vision, today. I think it was on their podcast, and he was talking about George Graham and David Seaman about how they basically said to that George Graham defense, doesn't matter if you let a shot off, just let the right shot off, because you know Seaman is a great shot stopper. So if you give him the right thing to deal with, it's fine. You know he saves it 100% of the time, or 99% of the time. And I think that's the same of what Rob Holding needs to do. Occasionally, he just needs to relax and say, okay, I'm going to let a shot go. But I trust my goalkeeper behind me to save it. It's the same that you saw in the great defences. Chelsea, it's why Petr Cech didn't work at Arsenal. Because at Chelsea, John Terry, Gary Cahill knew, don't allow a shot down the sides of Petr Cech, but allow them at his throat. And what did we do? He got beaten at his near post, left, right and centre, because we would constantly let that shot go in in that corner. And I think that's just what Rob's missing at the moment, is just that understanding of Aaron Ramsdale. But that comes with time.
We let Liverpool have way too many great shots, which is why it resulted in, ridiculous super saves like this. That one was even deflected as well, James. The other thing too that I totally, and I love the anecdote from the Arsenal Vision guys as well, James, one of the things too is, forget the shots and the quality of shots and how the defense can maybe try and contain or control that. The issue I think we have is Saliba is very good at bringing the ball out from the back, right? It's the beauty and the beast. Gabby's been the winning aerial duels. And then there's the beauty that is Saliba, who takes the ball, distributes the ball. I think actually Gabby's passing is a little bit underrated because Saliba has been so good with his distribution. But now you've got 2 centre-backs who are not, their instinct isn't distribution, right? But that's where Ben White's going to come in, and how important is Ben White to how Rob plays? Talk me through that part a little bit.
Yeah, well, if you go back to the very first game this season against Crystal Palace, one of the first things I noticed, as well as watching some of the games in pre-season as well, especially when Saliba come in there, I went, Christ alive, is this high? Is this line high? I'm like, wow, we are playing high. With Rob Holding in, you can see it's gone back about 10 yards now. Because we can't, with Saliba, in foot races, he's better. And again, like you said, he's a much better distributor and quicker distributor of the ball. Ben White, for me, much like Zinchenko at the weekend, defensively, I thought he had a very, very poor game. Mm-hmm. I thought that first goal, he got sucked in, which then made Rob Holding come to that right-back position. And that's what caused the ball to go across, and then Gabriel unlucky. But yeah, the other thing as well for this guy at the weekend, he got booked on the 23rd minute. Now, normally, when he progresses forward with Xhaka, he knows that he's got a foul spare if he needs it, if he mucks up. He'll go, do you know what? I can push on a bit more because I've got that yellow. Do you know what I mean? I've got a yellow card there if I need it. He couldn't do that at the weekend. And if you look at it, that whole right side link between White, Xhaka and Odegaard was dead that game at the weekend.
We
didn't
missed
happen.
Tomiyasu, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was going to be the immediate sub.
Well, again, that would have been the sub. If he was fit,
Zinchenko
would have been hooked way earlier as well. Because that's what he did in the home game. He didn't even bring Tierney on at left back for that against Liverpool. He brought Tommy on. But yeah, that was the main reason at the weekend why Ben White will be a completely different player this game because he won't get a book. Konate did the same thing second half to Granit Xhaka. Didn't get the booking for it. Exactly same tackle Ben White made. That's one of them that you get because the Anfield crowd are on your back as a ref, and you're not find me a ref in this league that is competent. But yeah, he
not this season.
He bottled that. He got everyone talked about Granit Xhaka getting sucked in. That ref got sucked in at kickoff. I think it was a joke.
Yeah, it was glaring that the risk taking for us guys is down to this for the rest of the season. Even with being 6 points clear, we know what we're dealing with. That's why we know we can't afford to slip up. They can't afford to slip up. If they slip up and we don't, it's great, right? But let's talk a little bit about, because that really
Sophie,
did hurt.
I've got more chance of Salma Hayek inviting me round for a bath than Dean Smith's Leicester have of beating Man City at the weekend. Trust me. Trust me.
Hey, I tell you something. This is why everyone should keep a laminated 5, because you never know.
I'll buy the Radox just in case. But I can't see it happening.
There's nicer brands out there now than Radox. Allow me to introduce you to some names. Listen. Who thought that Brentford could beat City up there? I mean, there's been some chaos this season. There's no doubt about that. But I just wanted to switch back because it did affect the productivity on the right side. You get that booking, you're screwed, right? I want to shift a little bit to the left, and not necessarily pertaining to just West Ham, but as we're going forward. You guys have had discussions before about Kieran Tierney. We've talked about Zinchenko. A lot of Arsenal fans think that Zinchenko's kind of been getting away with some of his cheap giveaways. We saw what happened against Liverpool, totally exposed. There was the size of the Grand Cat. The last time I saw a size that big on a pitch with an Arsenal player playing at left back, Grand Canyon style, was when Xhaka played there against Brighton, if you guys remember. Josh, let's start with you on this one. Zinchenko is fundamentally important to how we play. You go 2 up, right? He helps us penetrate, get those goals, movement, the support in the midfield. One of the criticisms is, exactly as we talked at the top of the show, is when do you bring those subs on? Do you think Zinchenko can cost us going, as much as he's going to win us games or help win us games? Arsenal fans are concerned that he could cost us games at this point.
Potentially, but I think he outweighs the good with the bad, or the bad.
But did it outweigh? Did his good outweigh the one bad moment against Liverpool?
I would say in that
quantify
moment, that comes down to the manager seeing that the player should probably have come off at that point. But I also witnessed Tierney come on and then get rinsed just as much as Zinchenko did down that side. It was just the fact that, was it Trent Alexander-Arnold put it through Zinchenko's legs. That's where I kind of see that breakdown. That could have happened to any player, personally. And giving it away higher up, that is a problem. And I feel like if the situation at the time, if we're playing at any other away ground, I think a player can go in and wipe out Trent coming down that wing and not get any booking. Maybe a soft yellow, but otherwise, I would have expected someone like Xhaka to come across, wipe the player out, kill that. But that was the problem with Anfield. And it is slightly worrying against the top teams. But hey, we only play them twice a year at the moment. And we're still holding our own against them. A draw at Anfield is better than what Man City got up there. Put it
sure
that way.
is. And Man United.
And that's who we got it. Well, exactly. And that's the thing that we need to really see. And whilst it's interesting to see, I used to say that Tierney's better in attack than defence. I would say the other way around, but it also depends on what attack you want from him. If we still had Olivier Giroud up top, I want him over Zinchenko every day of the week, but we don't. We've got a diminutive forward who can make space and could score headers if the ball is right. But generally, you want the guy actually to be playmaking, and we can have someone else in there that can put a cross in. What I actually think is maybe a real curveball, especially against a West Ham side like this, where if we're not expecting them to come against us, especially if we 3-4-0 up there, is if Zinchenko's coming off, I'm not necessarily bringing Tierney on. I'm bringing on another midfielder, because that's actually what you're doing. You want a position in there. Could I have, Xhaka, you drop back a bit and we'll put Vieira slightly higher up? Or Vieira, you go there. And we'll completely say that left side, come at us. But we trust. We've brought on Trossard, who's got the work rate to get back. If not, it's Martinelli. He's got the work rate to get back as well. And Vieira, yeah, take a yellow. It's fine, because you're probably only playing 20 minutes in that position anyway.
James, let's talk about Xhaka a little bit here as well. He's been amazing this season. Had a couple of dodgy games in the last couple months, but a couple dodgy games is okay by me. Of course, everyone, had an opinion about what happened at Anfield. I actually think, old Xhaka would maybe have got sent off, but new Xhaka curbed his exuberance, his passion in when he gets angry kind of way. But I also felt it was so important for someone to stand up for our team at Anfield. And I think Mikel Arteta set the tone when he went at it with Klopp on the sideline. Say what you want, it riles up the crowd or whatever. Happens in every game. Every team does it. Every team has a Xhaka. Every team needs a Xhaka. Still so important to us. Some people have been calling him to be subbed, etc. What's your take on the Xhaka stuff and all of this, and how important that he's going to be in a match like this and going forward?
Yeah. Well, like we're predicting that we're going to be, ball dominant and having a dominant game. When he plays higher up, don't be surprised if he don't score. He's tucked a few the last couple of weeks. That at the weekend, you guys just mentioned it a minute ago. The Liverpool game, right? Do you remember the Man City one that they played just before the World Cup?
Liverpool v Man City, you mean?
Yes. Haaland, when he was grappling for Fabinho, and then Foden scores, and they said that if VAR didn't give the shirt pull, he fouled Alisson in the build-up. So it would have been the goal would have been ruled out. But do you remember Pep Guardiola went absolutely insane because he was like when we scored at Old Trafford, he was like, "Why are you bringing the goal all the way back? That's like about 5 or 6 phases of play before the ball's in the net." And they were chucking the bottles of Fanta at him, and he's doing all this to the Liverpool fans, like, "Come on, then, yeah, if you want it, come and get it," type thing, and he's shushing them and everything else. Do you remember the English media and Sky and all the other people? Oh, what a terrible manager Pep Guardiola is. He lost his neck there at Anfield. How dreadful is that? Because all week, I've seen Granit Xhaka's cost Arsenal the title doing this.
Mhm.
Granit Xhaka, where was it when Guardiola went nuts? Because I didn't see it. I must have missed it. If it
James, I
happens,
find it
blip me in.
insane, the love for Man City right now, especially. It kind of grosses me out a little bit, but go on.
Well, it's one of them. Yes, does it G him up a bit? Yes. Is he to blame for the goal, though? No. Is he to blame for the second goal? Not really, no. I don't understand how you can build that narrative there. And again, it's the whole Arsenal, and I'm guilty of it, we're a reactionary fan base. Yes, we are the ones that click the most and reply back and everything else. And that's the only reason why it's done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've got no qualms about him playing against West Ham at the weekend.
Yeah.
At all. He's fine. Especially where he is now, with all the players that are around him. He's fine where he is. Don't worry about that.
I think it's killed the noise, wasn't it? In terms of just looking at everybody who said that Xhaka cost Arsenal the title didn't watch the game. I think you put it that way. And they may have said, I attended or I had it on, but they didn't watch the game.
Yeah. Yeah. They did not watch the game. Absolutely right. Okay. Another very important question. It's coming from a couple of our listeners for you guys as well. Hasn't quite featured as much maybe as we would have thought, in the sense that not starting, but definitely as a substitution. Scored for England, had a good outing, which I think helps us. What say you guys of this young fella? Is he going to play a part as we move forward? And to me, it seems like this is the perfect game for Emil Smith Rowe to come into to get some minutes. Josh?
I think it could be, but also I'm not too worried about Smith Rowe not necessarily getting minutes. And I will come in very quickly before anyone jumps down my throat at that statement. Remember Martinelli when he came back from injury? And everybody, no, I say not everybody, a vast majority of the fan base thought that was it. Mikel Arteta, he's lost faith in Martinelli. He's going to get rid of him.
I did.
What's he doing? Yeah, we all thought that. I think it's the same situation here with Smith Rowe. You know what? Just let him ease this player back in, because we could have, if Martinelli's anything to go by, a heck of a player on our hands come maybe next season. But we've got to remember how many fronts we've now got to compete on. We're going to have Champions League and we're going to need some strong players. And maybe that's what Arteta's saying to Smith Rowe. You know what? I'll give you the minutes here and there. We'll make sure that your body is right. Because think about it, the kid doesn't necessarily know if he can go for a sprint anymore. The number of injuries he's ended up with. Make sure he's happy and confident.
Josh, it seems like that's an injury that was dragging, right? But this surgery, like a lot of players, it's like, here's the surgery that takes care of the problem, right? Of that have been the niggly bits for 2-3 seasons. Yeah.
And I think you just slowly got to rebuild that foundation, though, because it's not just here's surgery and now you're fixed. There is still a physiotherapy and a rehab that you've got to go through to actually get back to that level.
Before you can even, forget, then you have to get match fit. You have to have the time to get match fit, right?
And do we have the time to get Smith Rowe properly match fit? Because he's not starting any games for us. We haven't got that in the fixture calendar at the moment. As people have said, look at the number of fixtures. We've got 8 fixtures left. That's it.
And it's not a time for testing, is it, lads? No. It really is. I don't want any experiments. No Bunsen burners here, people.
So Sophie, he's unlucky because the position that I think he should be playing, Granit Xhaka plays there and he's the marathon man. He very, very rarely doesn't play him or takes him off. For me, Smith Rowe's future for Arsenal should be in that left 8.
A lot of fans think that, James.
The way Granit Xhaka scores his goals, arriving late and tucking them in the box and stuff, that's Smith Rowe's bread. He'll be amazing at that. He'll have a season. If he stays there permanently and plays that position like I want him to, he could be like that. Do you remember that season where Aaron Ramsey, before he even touched the ball, if you saw that ball coming and Aaron Ramsey's here, you're like, he scored. Smith Rowe will have a season where he'll tuck like 12, 13 goals like Aaron Ramsey did that year. But now that Trossard plays out wide on the left, he can't get in there. Don't play him as a false 9. That's too complicated. Don't want to see it.
Physically, though, I don't think that's right for him. Exactly.
And then on the right, he's not good he's not got a good coming off the right for me. And then at number 10, you've got Vieira as the 10 backup now. So it's very hard for him to find somewhere to be. But
Just before you jump in,
should be where he is.
Just before you jump in, Josh, I'm going to swing it back to you with regards to Emil Smith Rowe, right? Is so Xhaka is very physical. Like that role today requires a little bit of that physicality. But when you look at players in the past who've excelled in that position, but getting goals, like he got 10 goals off the bench, Josh. But a lot of people are afraid of that defensive work that maybe he's not as good at. That was the argument why fans preferred Martinelli on the left to Emil Smith Rowe, right? The hustle, what he does off the ball. Is that a fair assessment or not? What is your overall thought?
Yeah, I think I want to come in terms of physical presence. I mean, I saw him come back to when they've had pictures of him in first team training. I think the kid's had another growth spurt. That or the surgery he had put another 2 inches in his back, isn't it?
He was working out as well, wasn't he?
He worked out, and he looks bigger than Gabriel. And I should actually state which Gabriel I'm talking about, I suppose, because one of them's a tiny little Brazilian, and the other one is a hulking great big centre back. Looks bigger than the centre back, Gabriel. So it'd be interesting to actually see him when he comes in. And as I say, we don't need to risk him in terms of an Arsenal point of view. And yeah, if he does come into that Xhaka role, I think looking at who we're potentially looking at bringing in, we are looking at more defensive midfielders as well. So perhaps that's something in Mikel's mind that, I'll bring Smith Rowe in, but I'm also looking at the, what did I call it on Twitter? He's going after carbohydrates, is Edu this summer. I think he wants mac and rice to go to complement his barbecue. And we'll see Rice today. Every time I've watched, I should say, Declan Rice, I really want to get the hype with Declan Rice. Every time I've watched West Ham this season, he has been awful. But I think there is still obviously a player there that we're going to go after. And that's potentially the future for Smith Rowe is behind him. There is a mobile destructor that allows us to deal with that weakness, because that's what this team is. It is a team that perfectly complements one another.
Okay, so you're talking about weakness. James, before we get on to a couple of other bits here, hit the like button, everybody, if you like the return of Tactical Squad here with James Johnston and Josh the Human. Josh will piss some of you off, I'm sure of it, by the time the show is actually over. And James will bust out a tune, I'm sure. But James, let's talk about weaknesses, right? Is there anything that scares you going into this match? Listen, London derby, always going to be tough. We have 2 London derbies left, one against West Ham, of course, this weekend. And we've got Chelsea coming up. Is there anything that scares you at all?
If it was, it would be like Josh mentioned earlier, and it's Jared Bowen. If you look at the penalty that Liverpool got at the weekend, he could do that again with holding. He's a guy that's very, very quick, very good at getting, you know, when they get these penalties and people go, "Oh, that's clever," when they wrap the leg sort of round and get the contact. he's very good at that. He's very, very good at that. And it's one of those, it's weird. If they want to, West Ham, if they want to ping it up and hit long balls to Antonio and knock-ons, I could see that potentially working. And Danny Ings is one of them annoying ones. You know, like I said before about Shane Long used to come out of witness protection to play against us and score. Danny Ings is the same. I know he scored tonight, but Danny Ings always used to score again. It's so annoying. You're like, you do nothing for years, yet when Arsenal play, you're a banker to score. So
it's true.
Yeah. But no, that's the only marginal sort of thing. And I think they'll be, like you said, I think they'll be up for it. You know, yes, do we really have a big rivalry with West Ham? Not really. But would they like to be one? You know, you get West Ham fans that, you know, with their Peaky Blinder hat on and they're bold, you know, who's the last team to beat you at Highbury and the first to beat you at the Emirates? Yeah, well done, mate.
Do you remember the FA Cup in the 80s, mate?
Oh, we won the World Cup, you know, we're all going West Ham crazy. Give it a rest. Give it a rest.
Oh, great stuff. Okay, brilliant. All right, this is the lineup, and it is the same for both, and I think it'll be the same for a lot of fans. Some fans may have Trossard in there somewhere, but I think it writes itself. And let's get behind the lads. What are your predictions for the match, Josh?
Well, I'm assuming that Ben Johnson has an awful game. Martinelli ruins him, gets a hat trick, and yeah, I'm expecting a comprehensive victory. I think, as James has mentioned, and you've mentioned as well, Sophie, is about goal difference. This is one of the opportunities I think that we've got in the fixture calendar to really boost that goal difference. And whilst I don't necessarily think it will come down to it, it's always good to have our forwards firing rather than them not. And you can never score too many goals, put it that way. I'm sure the media will find a way. If we score 8, they'll go, oh no, it's too many. Arsenal were taking the piss. That's it. Right. They've scored too many goals. That's it. Shut it down. For the rest of the season, Arsenal can't score more than 3. It's taking the piss.
NFL piling it on, right? Scoring type. What did you, Matty K's going for a 6-0 here.
I go 5.
Joe's going for a 4-1. Ian's going for a 3-0. You going for a 5 clean sheet or?
Yeah, 5 clean sheet.
5 clean sheet. Albert in the house. West Ham 1, Arsenal 3. Oh yes, Sophie and James, I love you both, and I owe you a phone call. Albert, it will happen. James, what do you say?
I'm going the same as Albert. 3-1 Arsenal. Martin Odegaard. Get it on your bet slip.
Amazing. I'll give you mine in just a sec. Right, we're going to talk a little bit more football with the boys, but I'm going to take a wee break here because what I love about you knuckleheads in the chat and squaddies overall is the community that we've built here, and it's very, very special. And we've had some really special people on the show. Actually, today I recorded a Talented Gooners new episode with a wonderful, wonderful Arsenal fan called Peter Lewis, who's very talented. He's an astronomy photographer. He's also been a fan for 60 years, you guys. 60 years. He went to his first game in 1963. You are not going to want to miss that. This is someone who's lived as an Arsenal fan through the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000, 2010s, and now. Incredible. So that will go, and I'll let you know when that's going to premiere. But also, we've had on our Talented Gooners show a very talented young man who I'm very fond of called Mikey Pooley. And Mikey is a blind gooner. He's a blind footballer. He wasn't born blind. He unfortunately became blind through a very rare disease. His family are incredible. They support him incredibly, and Arsenal love him. We love him. And, there was some unsavory stuff that happened on the Twitter sphere about a week ago. So, guys, in true Highbury Squad fashion, right, as Kev says, you just have to silence the idiots and focus on the positives. So, Mikey, here's a very, very special message for you from a couple of very special gooners. Here we go. Everyone will enjoy this.
Hi, Mikey. It's Super Kev Campbell here, mate. And I hope you're okay. I hope your family's well. Listen, I see you're still playing football and I see you're still doing so well. Listen, I hope you're enjoying the games at the Emirates. And I saw you celebrating all them goals going in. So make sure you keep going. You keep enjoying it. And remember, you've got the spirit of this man here. Keep Rocky Spirit there, right together. You've got it. And you make sure you enjoy yourself and enjoy the games. Stay focused on your football. And all the very best, Mikey. Lots of love. Super Kev.
One from Super Kev. I've got one more for you, Mikey. You ready for this one? This one's fun.
Hello, Mikey. It's Perry Groves here, Ginga Gooner. Just a little message, mate, to say keep playing your football. Keep getting yourself to Emirates, because it's people like you that make our club great. We really appreciate your support. Ain't it fantastic that we're flying at the top of the league and getting on everybody else's tits? Let's hope that we batter the Hammers on Sunday. And remember, my old man said be a Tottenham fan. I said, off, you're you can fill in the blanks, big fella. Ooh to be a Gooner. Cheers, Mikey. Keep the faith.
News is that Mikey's dad approved the video, so we're good to go. I tell you what, Perry is just hilarious, isn't it? Isn't that lovely? The young gooner, you guys, who didn't see the boys play, but his dad did. And I just love that, we can come together and support each other and drown out the falls, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's any consolation to Mikey, I once scored at Baddow Recreational Ground here in Chelmsford in Essex. It was a very, very good goal. A man dropped his sandwich in awe at this volley that I scored at. If you go on, if someone could show Google Earth of Baddow, you'll see it's a cauldron Baddow Recreational Ground. It's a really intense place to play Sunday football. So keep going.
Yes,
Like we
well
said.
said. Yeah, well said. Well said. Good stuff. And we love Mikey, and he'll be back on the show next season too, so we can continue to follow his journey. Thank you so much, Super Kev and Perry Groves, you legends, for making that happen. Josh, look at this from Thunder Road. I really like Josh, but man, does he look dodgy. I'm talking check his hard drive, dark web dodgy.
I'm going to just say exactly the same back to Thunder Road. We know, Thunder. We've seen your DMs to the pod.
All right. Okay. So I have one more. Are you guys ready for one more? And there's only 2 people I could probably do this with who are guests on the show and do my housework while I'm on the show as well. So are you guys ready for something special from the Highbury Squad? I told you that our good friends at Zenith Coins were going to come up with something new and exciting and sexy before the season was out, and they have done. And guess who will be the lucky recipients of one of these? It's you guys. It is the limited edition clock end coin. That is right. Zenith Coins out with the new one from the Arsenal Football Club, the clock end coin. It is a wonderful new collection. It's a limited edition. Go to the website, zenithcoins.com. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. And here it is. It's a beauty in itself. It's a limited edition. Use code HS15, HS15, and get your 15% off. What do you guys think of the new coin?
Very, very nice. Oh. Tasty. Sorry, I used my wrong word there. Saucy. What a saucy coin.
Saucy coin. Getting a lot of love from the chat box as well. Love it, squaddies. I know Newman hasn't even got the first one. Now there's a new edition out as well. He's up shit creek without a paddle, isn't he? I'm having that, says Mark. 15% off, HS15. Go visit our friends at Zenith Coins and get your coin today. Boys, how does the season end? Let's end the show with your thoughts on that. I'm sure you're going to be back beforehand, but let's just end it on that. Josh, how does it end?
Sorry?
Were you not paying attention? Were you looking at the coin, or did you just choose not to answer this particular question?
I was looking at the coin. That was it. I
Yeah.
came back onto I went onto YouTube as well, just so I could catch it again.
It's wonderful. Look at it. It's just sexy. I know.
That's what we need.
I know. I'm going to give one. I'm going to give one away next week at in Chicago, and I will be giving one away on the show as well. And of course, don't forget the original. I mean, this is turning into a beautiful collection, is it not? Between that and the clock end, and of course, you've got us here. It's just joyous stuff. Don't say we don't do nice things for you, squaddies. Go on, Josh. Answer the question then.
Well, I've got many questions I've been asked. So
how does the season end?
I think it's gonna end in a positive way for Arsenal. I don't want to say the words yet. I don't want to string that sentence together to be so explicit. So I'm going to say it ends in a positive light for Arsenal, and hopefully that's not enough to jinx it.
Did he just squirm his way out of that one, James?
I think he's being sensible, unlike me. I'm renowned for not being a sensible person. Season's going to end with Arsenal winning the league by a point.
All right,
a point. Oh well, I was being. I think we were going to win it by 5, but okay.
Oh, it's gonna be close, but we're gonna do it. You know, I've come this far. I'm not backing out now. I've said it too often. I've said it for too many months now. I'm riding it all the way.
anything? Are we going to get anything from the City game?
I think Kevin was on Sky today, didn't he? Said 1-0 win. So if Kevin says that, I can't disagree with Kevin, especially in that car.
I can't imagine them not scoring at home. I just can't.
Because of their fans, that really raucous atmosphere that the Etihad is renowned for. Is that the thing that's going to give it away? I don't think we beat City though, necessarily. I think a draw is enough. But let's just put it this way: City are a formidable home record. Just look at that away record though, and they've got some tricky away fixtures still coming up, and they're also gunning for Champions League.
Yeah,
that'll be the big thing that they'll be ending up for.
I actually didn't think Bayern played that badly in the first half yesterday. City would. I've never seen them defend like that. That's the best defensive performance I've seen from a City team. I don't know, 2-3 seasons. Oh, they were just sensational. Sensational.
It was one player had an off day and they just ruined him for 20 minutes.
You're being polite now. You're mean to El Neni. You're mean to Thomas Partey. You're mean to. Are you still selling Thomas Partey, by the way?
Oh yeah, no, I answered that in the chat. No, he proved his fitness. I did say if the Lamborghini has got no wheels, there's no point in having a Lamborghini. He's got wheels now. It's fine.
Right.
We're driving it around town. We've got the top down. We're annoying the neighbours, all of the neighbours, by just revving his engine through the middle of the town. And yeah, that's it.
Brilliant stuff. All right. Well, look, go follow the boys. All right. Give Josh the Human 23 a follow. Doesn't want to sell Thomas Partey anymore. And clearly he loves Trossard. A little bit of a misunderstanding there with our chief like officer. LL Cool James 97. Are you doing your show, James?
91, sorry. I wish I was born in 97.
Why did I do 97? I've put this up
It was a good year.
Times.
It was a good year for Arsenal. So was 91, actually. You only lost again.
The Almost Invincibles. The most underrated Arsenal team ever, I think. Go on.
It's a great book as well.
Yeah. James, and so are you guys doing shows? Any shows coming up?
Yes, we recorded Purely Arsenal the other day. That's up and out if you want to listen to that. That's also a visual as well as an audio, so you can look at me twice if that's your thing.
Lovely.
ABW went live yesterday. I would not recommend watching that in visuals. It was because Danny's back. No, he won't mind me saying that. But yeah, that is also available on audio as well. I think he was with Gav from She War, so
okay, definitely
worth a listen.
All right, brilliant stuff. Good, brilliant, lovely having you both back. Just real quick, I'm just going to put amazing. To see that one more time. Okay, the squad will be. Listen, we've got some great shows coming up, everyone. This is the final act of the season. We've got Warren Barton coming on for the Newcastle game. We've got Jason Cundy coming on for the Chelsea game. David Hillier is going to be back next week for the Tuesday-ish club. We have the Guardian Susie Rack coming on with Demian to talk about our Arsenal women in the Champions League and the WSL. We have Rachel Newborough coming on, plays for Coventry, used to play for Charlton, to talk women's football with us. DJ Tony Perry will be on Monday. Vic Akers is going to be coming back at some point at the end of the season. Dave Seeger will be back. And of course, Super Kevin Campbell will be here to guide you and hold your hand. Plus some of our favorite podcasters and YouTubers. Before the season is out, we're going to do a week of podcaster shows. So that's it. That's all I've got time for. I love you guys. We will be back after the game at the weekend. I'm taking tomorrow off because you know what? It's Greek Easter. And to all those out there who are celebrating this weekend, Jesus has risen again. He's risen a lot of times. Enjoy your flowers. Enjoy your barbecue. I love you. See you after the match. At ease, everyone. At ease. Γεια σας, παιδιά. Χριστός Ανέστη. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.